Yeah, they be like, who is this Mickey Truth girl? Who qualifies her to put a work on
What's
these
up, what's up,
people?
y'all? It's your girl, Mickey Truth, aka the Queen of Paperwork, and I am back with another video. As always, all information contained in this video is for entertainment educational purposes only. All information used in this video is per the Fair Use Act, and any conclusion that you draw is on you, not me. So let's get it. I want to start off by saying this is going to be a video on a sensitive topic to some. So, trigger warning possible. Viewer discretion is advised. And Mickey Truth does not condone domestic violence in any shape, form, or fashion, whether it's a male aggressor or a female aggressor. So, again, viewer discretion is advised. Trigger warning possible. For those who are aware of Little J, who is a drill rapper out of Chicago, a lot of different storylines has been floating around YouTube and online in regards to him. However, y'all know me, I'm just gonna stick to the cases. All right, one in particular is kind of goes both ways. It's a domestic violence case, but also it's part of his current I guess evidence for his federal case. And y'all may be like, huh? What? Some of y'all may have already saw that footage, but I thought it would be good to start off with that to set the tone. What we just witnessed was, again, that video I believe has been out. However, it is Lil J being arrested this past incident that he has currently been in jail since. With it, it is a domestic violence call. Also, allegedly, right, the police saw him throw a gun in the bushes, which, of course, if you have been keeping up with the different things in Chicago, Lil J is a convicted felon. So now he is currently in federal um, holding due to that weapons charge. So let's take a look at this document that was filed back in June of this year. Now, it states here the government moves to revoke the June 7 release order because there is no condition or combination of conditions to reasonably assure defendant's appearance and the safety of the community. In 2015, defendant was convicted of reckless discharge of a firearm and sentenced to 2 years probation. After being on probation for that conviction for a mere 6 weeks, defendant was arrested on a murder charge. Defendant pled guilty to murder, conspiracy, and was sentenced to 14 years imprisonment. He was released on parole on April 12, 2022, having served 7 years of his sentence. Yet, only 3 months into his parole, defendant was arrested in the present case after a domestic violence incident in which he broke his girlfriend's jaw and pointed a gun at her and her mother, threatening to kill them both. The handgun, a Glock 9mm, equipped with a auto steer switch that rendered it fully automatic, was in defendant's hand when law enforcement arrived and was recovered less than 5 feet from where defendant was standing after he was observed dropping it over a porch railing. A grand jury in this district charged the defendant with being a felon in possession of a firearm in violation of 18 U.S.C. 922G1. Those facts alone warrant pretrial detention. In addition to defendant's criminal history, his consistent failure to abide by terms of probation, and his conduct in the course of the present offense, defendant has also engaged in obstructive conduct. Since he was arrested in July 2022 and placed in IDOC custody on parole violation, defendant has placed over 50 jail calls to the victim in this case, asking her to, among other things, convince her mother testify to the grand jury that she was just mad and never saw him with a gun. Such testimony, if given, would be in direct conflict with what the mother told law enforcement during her 911 call, what she told law enforcement immediately following the defendant's arrest, and her sworn grand jury testimony. Finally, roughly a week after the defendant was transferred into federal custody, he got into a fight with another inmate. The defendant has a clear history of violence and flaunting the rules without concern for consequences. There is simply no reason to believe he will change his ways. Now, I will say I will be touching on that fight. However, this is strictly about the domestic violence case as is in relation to the felony case. Okay. So if we continue on, for those who do not know, at one point this summer, Little J actually was granted to be released. However, this document was filed to halt it, so he was not released. It's just for those who may not already know. So let's get into the domestic violence incident and arrest. The morning of July 14th, 2022, and before I continue, again, this is in a federal case. This is why I'm doing it, because it's part of the federal case. On July 14, 2022, at around 7:14 a.m., Calumet City Police Department, CCPD, received a 911 call from a woman reporting a domestic violence situation at her home. The woman caller asked that police be sent to her house because a man had hit her daughter and had a gun in his hands. The woman stated that the man was dressed in all gray and had arrived in a black Lexus, which was parked out front. She identified the man as her daughter's boyfriend, Jeff McGee. The caller stated that her daughter needed medical attention. In the background, the daughter could be heard repeatedly yelling, "Go home." The caller pleaded for the police to arrive quickly. It's claiming, "Please, somebody come before we be dead." At approximately 7:15 a.m., CCPD dispatched radio nearby patrol units, which responded less than 2 minutes after the call came in over the radio. And it says here the 911 call lasted approximately 4 minutes and 52 seconds, and police were on the scene for over a minute before it ended. Now, upon arriving at the house, an officer observed the defendant on the porch and observed the defendant throw the gun into the bushes next to the porch. BWC footage captured the officer telling a colleague, "I watched him throw it over," and telling the defendant, "See, when you threw that gun, I watched you throw it." The officer recovered from the ground near the bushes a Glock 45 9mm equipped with a laser and auto sear switch. A photo of the firearm as it was found is depicted below at figure 1. So we just saw the body cam footage that they're referring to. The defendant was placed under arrest and taken to CCPD headquarters. After the defendant was arrested, the officer interviewed the two women in the house. The mother stated she was in the back of the house and heard her daughter scream and then ran towards the front door. The mother further stated that as she approached the front door, she saw the defendant standing over her daughter, who was on the ground with blood coming out of her mouth. The mother stated that the defendant then pulled out a handgun from his waistband, pointed it at both women, and threatened to kill them. The mother said she locked the front door behind the defendant and called 911. The daughter declined to give a statement. So before we continue, I do have another video that we're going to take a look at.
Hello. Can I step in?
Yeah.
Yeah, please step. Let's step
Come
in
on,
now.
step right back in here so you can talk to her.
What's going on today?
See her face.
Okay,
It's
we
all
got the
in her face.
paramedics.
They got into it today.
So who is that to you?
This I'm her mom. This is her boyfriend.
That's your
Yes.
boyfriend? Okay, how old are you? How old? 25? Okay. So what happened? Take a deep breath. Your face should not be looking like that at all. Take a deep breath. He's doing what he needs to be doing.
Sasha, please,
We're gonna let you know when we call you to sign complaints.
Okay.
We'll let you know when you go to court.
Okay.
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 And then you can get it extended.
Thank you so much. I thank
it's
God.
good with the
That was very intense to watch. Okay. Now, I had this video for a while and I'm like, how can I post this? The girl face is very messed up. Like very, 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 it was swollen, and I chose not to show it. However, you hear the audio of what was said, which does match up to what the paperwork says. But yes, I chose to blur it out. Although they sent it to me clear as day, I just chose to blur it out. So in the footnotes, it says a personal use quantity of cocaine was found inside defendant's Lexus. In a post-Miranda interview, defendant claimed the drugs which were found in the center console of his vehicle belonged to a friend. Defendant declined to provide the name of that friend. Now, with that being said, we're going to segue into the domestic violence report. All right, so I have obtained the arrest report from the actual domestic violence case, and it pretty much just shows that he refused to answer any questions. They do put that he's under the influence of alcohol and appears to be irrational. Also refused to sign the document, gives a description of, the defendant. So originally it was aggravated assault and also domestic battery. Again, refused to answer any question, refused to sign. So he was also charged with unlawful possession of controlled substance, and it was less than 30 grams of substance containing cocaine. So yeah, I guess that's a common thing because a lot of the last few cases had cocaine. Also, it says here the aggravated assault was by placing the victim in reasonable apprehension of receiving a battery while using a deadly weapon, Glock 45 caliber semi-automatic pistol, and it has a serial number. All right. Then the domestic battery, it says here that caused bodily harm to Zaisha Jones, his girlfriend, and that said defendant struck Jones in the nose with his fist, causing bleeding in violation of the Illinois Domestic Violence Act. All right. So we go back over to the federal document. It says here, defendant obstructive conduct while in IDOC custody. After he was arrested, defendant was placed in IDOC custody for having committed a parole violation. During his time in IDOC custody, defendant kept close contact with the victim girlfriend, calling her over 50 times and attempting to improperly influence her and her mother. For example, according to jail call recording on October 31st, 2022, defendant spoke to the victim who informed him that she and her mother had recently been served with federal grand jury subpoenas. Defendant guessed that the federal law enforcement was involved because the Glock recovered by CCPD had a switch on it. Defendant told the victim that she didn't have to say shit and could assert her Fifth Amendment rights. Defendant further told the victim that her mother should, and then it's redacted, and then it says in the footnotes, the government can provide a court with audio of defendant jail calls to include the October 31st, 2022 call with the victim. All relevant jail calls have been produced to defendant's counsel. Then it says, tell the grand jury that she was just mad when she called 911 and that he never possessed a gun. Even after he was charged in federal court, the defendant has continued to attempt to contact the victim with his most recent jail call that the government is aware of is her phone occurring, on May 20th, 2023. Now, it then goes to say federal proceedings. On January 18, 2023, a grand jury in this district indicted defendant on one count of being a felon in possession of a firearm in violation of 18 U.S.C. 922G1. Defendant had initial appearance and arraignment before the Honorable Magistrate Judge Kim on February 3rd, 2023. During the proceeding, defendant counsel asked that he be returned to state custody to defend out his parole violation, which was scheduled to expire on May 26, 2023. And then continue on. So with that being said, that is a lot. I mean, again, Mickey Truth don't condone any domestic violence, female or male aggressors. Keep your hands to yourself, basically. And it's just unfortunate that most times it has alcohol or drug fueled rage in these situations. Again, if you do need assistance with domestic violence, please contact your local law enforcement agencies. And I would like to share this with anybody, male or female, that are in need of help in a domestic violence situation. Sometimes it's not easy to talk to your loved ones about it. Sometimes it's maybe some embarrassment, but they do have a website called thehotline.org, and it gives you a phone number you can call, you can chat, you can text. Okay, they have a lot of resources, so please utilize this. And as always, make sure you take care of yourself. Okay, so like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend to pull up on your girl Mickey Truth, And as always, go over to MickeyTruth.com and get you that merch because you know your girl stay with that work.
You rappers ain't safe. No matter what you go through, do what you got to do and conquer the world.